We are here at the ECPE wide-bandgap user forum, and I have Tim McDonald with me from Infineon. Jim, you are also co-chairing the JEDEC Committee JC-70. So what is the objective of that committee?
So I'm vice chair of JC-70 and chair of JC-70.1, which is focused on GaN. But JC-70 in general is focusing on standards for GaN and silicon carbide qualification and reliability.
So some wide bandgap devices manufacturer claim that they are JEDEC qualified. Is this enough?
I think most of them today are maybe qualifying that comment a little bit. Everyone knows that we don't yet have JEDEC standards for the wide bandgap devices. Everyone recognizes that there are some gaps in the existing JEDEC qualification procedures which were developed for silicon devices. That's why we formed the committee to address these gaps. So I think when people say that they are JEDEC qualified, most people today qualify that statement by saying, but we had to do some more tests or additional tests. So right now it's a vendor by vendor list of what those tests could be, and the answer could be different from supplier A, B, or C. The idea of the standards committee in JEDEC, JC-70, is so that the answer will be the same in a few years' time when we finish the work of putting the standards together.
So you are having a presentation this day on what happens in standardization. So tell me a little bit more about it. What is the work that is actually done in JC-70?
Thank you for that question. In the case of silicon carbide and in the case of GaN, we have 3 task groups which are doing the real work, and they're focusing in 3 areas, the same in both silicon and GaN. They're focusing on reliability and failure mechanisms and the reliability procedures for qualifying, and they're focusing in a second group on the datasheet parameters that are unique to these devices because of their behavior. There's some new parameters that we need to rate. And then thirdly, they're looking at test methods required, and all these 3 work together because if you put something on the datasheet, you have to know how to test it, and the reasoning for why you need it may have reliability implications and so on. So they're working together to pick which are the topics that are important and to develop standards for those.
So earlier this year, JC-70 issued its first paper on dynamic RDS(on). So tell me more about of the topic of that paper.
Yeah, I think you're referring to JEP 173, which is available on the JEDEC website free of charge, and it deals with the topic of measuring dynamic RDS(on), which is one of the most important challenges we faced, having a standard way of being able to measure dynamic RDS(on) where there's a transient effect with GaN devices, which for a period of time increases the resistance of the device after it's been through reverse bias. So now we have that standard. We're great that in less than a year, or approximately a year of the time we formed the committee, we have our first publication. I think it's a good achievement for all of the JC-70.1 members, and we've got another set of topics we're on to do more publications.
So what are the topics that are currently in discussion in the committee?
We recently got together at APEC at our meeting and we published what the next priorities are. In the case of GaN, the next topics are going to focus on forms of switching reliability and everything that goes along with that. So that's a priority really for the reliability team and for the test methods team. And then a priority that was really recently identified as a very big item to work on, an important one, and it's important for all 3 of the task groups, is over voltage rating, because the GaN devices don't avalanche and you have the ability to go for brief periods of time at higher voltages. So we want to have a standardized way of stating that in data sheets and backing it up with the reliability test methods.
So who can participate in this JEDEC committee's JC-70? Only device manufacturers?
Really anybody that joins JEDEC can join our committee. It's required to be a member of JEDEC to be a regular member. So assuming you contact JEDEC, which is www.jedec.org, and sign up as a member, whether you are a device manufacturer or a user, you are welcome to join our committee. In fact, the more voices we get, we find the richer the conversation and the better we deal with issues sooner rather than later. So it's good to have a mix.
So Tim, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you very much.